What's your major? Psychology, Nadia says. Oh, so therapist? Nadia sighs internally. That question again. Everyone assumes the same thing, but psychology leads everywhere. Marketing, tech, sports, law, even UX design. Most people don't know this, not even psychology students themselves. Let's actually map it out. Every real career path. Let's understand it. Let's go inside. Hey, welcome back. This is Mystified Mind. Nadia is finishing her psychology degree this year. She loves the subject genuinely, deeply. But lately, panic has started creeping in. What am I actually going to do with this? Every family gathering brings the same question. So, are you going to be a therapist? Nadia isn't sure she wants that specifically, which makes her wonder if she chose wrong. Her roommate studies computer science. Everyone seems to know exactly her job title. Nadia's path feels foggy by comparison. Here's the strange part, though. Psychology is actually one of the most versatile degrees. Nadia just hasn't been shown the full map yet. She'd chosen psychology because people fascinated her. Why they think the way they think, why they make the choices they make. That curiosity hadn't changed. Just her confidence about where it would lead. Her professors talked about research and clinical work mostly, rarely about anything beyond those two tracks. So Nadia assumed that was essentially the whole field. It's an easy assumption to make, honestly. Most degrees feel that way from the inside. Hard to see the full range when you're in it. So, why does everyone assume therapist only? Media plays a huge role in this. Movies and shows almost only depict clinical therapists, so that becomes the only visible career path. But that's a tiny fraction of the field. Psychology is really the science of human behavior, and human behavior matters in nearly every industry, anywhere people make decisions, interact, or communicate. Psychology has real, practical applications. Understanding this opens up an entire hidden map. Universities don't always emphasize this enough either. Career counseling often defaults to the familiar path because it's the easiest one to explain quickly. So students graduate without ever seeing the full range. That's not a personal failure, it's a systemic gap, one worth addressing directly and honestly. So let's fill in that gap right now with actual, real world examples, not just abstract category names, things you could actually picture yourself doing. Let's go through them one by one, 6 real examples, then a few more beyond that. Let's walk through some real examples together. First, user experience or UX research. Tech companies hire psychology graduates constantly to understand how people actually use products, running interviews, watching real users struggle or succeed, then translating that into better design decisions. It's essentially applied behavioral science for technology. Second, industrial organizational, or IO psychology, applying psychology to workplaces and hiring, helping companies build healthier, more effective teams, designing better hiring processes, reducing burnout, improving how leadership actually communicates with staff. This field is growing rapidly as companies prioritize well being. Third, consumer or marketing psychology, understanding why people buy what they buy, used by nearly every major brand, studying emotion memory and decision making in purchasing. It's one of the highest paying applications of this degree. Fourth, forensic psychology, working within the legal and justice system, evaluating witness reliability, assessing competency in court cases, a genuinely fascinating intersection of law and mind. Fifth, sports and psychology, helping athletes build mental resilience and focus, working with teams at every level of competition. Performance under pressure is fundamentally a psychological skill. Sixth, human resources, leadership roles, where understanding people is the entire job. Conflict resolution, team dynamics, organizational culture, and yes, clinical and counseling. Paths still exist too, just as one branch among many. Each path requires different additional training. Of course, some need graduate degrees, others don't. But the foundation, the undergraduate degree itself, opens doors to all of them. There's also school psychology and counseling, working within schools to support students' mental health, a field in genuinely high demand right now. And health psychology, focusing on medical settings, helping patients manage chronic illness and treatment adherence. The list genuinely keeps going. There's environmental psychology too, studying how spaces and surroundings affect well being, used in architecture and urban planning projects, and political psychology for anyone interested in public life, studying persuasion, voting behavior, and group dynamics. Even data science roles increasingly want psychology backgrounds because understanding human behavior makes data more meaningful. Numbers alone don't explain why people do things. Psychology does. That's why tech companies actively recruit this background. Nadia hadn't realized how in demand this made her. That realization alone eased a lot of her anxiety. She finally felt like her degree made sense. Learning this changes something for Nadia. She starts exploring UX research specifically, something about understanding how people use technology genuinely excites her. She reaches out to someone working in the field. That conversation opens up an entire new direction. At her next family gathering, someone asks, "So, are you going to be a therapist?" This time, Nadia has a clear, confident answer. "Actually, I'm looking into UX research, understanding how people use technology." The relative actually looked genuinely interested. "I didn't know that was a job," they said. "Most people don't," Nadia replied, smiling. The conversation that once felt awkward now felt like an opportunity to share. She wasn't defending her choice anymore. She was actually excited to talk about it. Here's what most people misunderstand about this degree: they think it teaches one specific job, but it actually teaches a transferable skill set: understanding, motivation, reading, behavior, interpreting data, communicating complex ideas clearly. These skills apply almost anywhere people are involved, which is to say, nearly every industry that exists. Nadia still doesn't have every answer figured out, but now she has a map, not one narrow road. This isn't just about psychology degrees either. Most fields are wider than their stereotype suggests. It's worth actually looking at the real map. Nadia now tells people about her plans confidently. No more dreading the family gathering question. She actually looks forward to explaining it now. Her roommate even asked her more about it, genuinely surprised by how many options existed. I had no idea, the roommate admitted. Nadia smiled. She hadn't either. Not until recently. A few months ago, she felt completely lost. Now she felt something closer to excitement. The uncertainty hadn't vanished completely, but it no longer felt like panic. It felt like possibility. If you're studying psychology and feeling unsure, you're not behind, you're not stuck. The field is wider than you've been told. Explore beyond the one career everyone assumes: UX marketing, HR sports, law, and yes, therapy too. If this made you see something new, do me a favor, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel keep going. Drop a comment with your own psychology career question. New videos drop every single week. So hit that bell and stay close, because one degree can lead to many different lives. I'm Nipa. I'll see you next time. Whatever you're studying right now, the map is probably wider than you think. That's what this channel is really about: helping you see the full picture. Because one narrow view can quietly limit everything. A wider view changes everything else too.